Shout out to all the fuzzy socks out there for keeping our feet nice and warm. Today, we're going to speak about Roca Negra, otherwise known as Blackberry. Roca Negra, Blackberry. I don't want to get deleted, but I need to tell you this information. There is a Bitcoin Spot ETF right around the corner. Everybody's going to think it is the start of the most amazing rainbow, jelly beans, unicorn, fairy dust bull market. There will probably be an exit pump, and long term, this will damage Bitcoin. You have to understand what's going on, because me and you, as friends, we might be able to make a lot of money if we align ourselves with the bug eater overlords. Thank you for liking, subscribing, press the bell button, all friends. I'm here to give you this beautiful, juicy information, shock the algorithm. Blackberry, otherwise known as Roca Negra, they want to add Bitcoin to their ESG friendly index. Now, something you got to know about this. ESG means cow fart sniffer. Do you understand? Those people who enjoy sniffing cow farts, they have a pre-approved index of certain companies that are in this pool of stonks and assets. But there's a problem. They suck. And when I mean suck, I mean really suck. They underperform the index. You got one here, 0.38%, 89%, that they underperform the S&P 500. I have a chart here to share with you as well, just to show you how sucky they are. So, a lot of these indexes, in a utopia world, the people who sniff cow farts would also be the most profitable. We don't live in that world, friends. We know that. We understand capitalism, for all its good and its bad, it produces the best outcomes compared to the alternatives. The alternatives are trash. We got to get people competing with each other. Not me and you, though. We're friends. Plenty of friendship for all. Blackberry understand this more than anyone else. But there is an issue here. The issue is, how do you get everybody to put their money and their voting power and all the political will behind these ESG-friendly companies? If they suck, there is an answer. Have you heard of a little coin called Bitcoin? This is the plan. So there's cows and there's trees. There's people who love cows and people who love trees. And these people have a lot of stocks, okay? They're in an index. Now, here's the issue, friends. The issue, right, as we know, is their stocks are trash. But what if you could get Bitcoin in that index? Now we can start to raise the performance of this trash index. I'd like to remind you as well, in the ESG part, S stands for social. This is a scam. You know what S also stands for? Scam, right? Why? Because social is subjective. They basically guess and they say, well, your company, it doesn't have enough blue people, so we're going to give you a 2 out of 10 rating. This is ultimate control. This is what the governments love. Now, the problem with this is you can't measure this, and they are amassing total control. So they want to put everybody under this ESG label. Bitcoin can be put in this ESG label, and they are doing it. They're saying Bitcoin is eco-friendly and it's great. It's all a trap. It's all a trap. So now we've established there's a problem. The problem is ESG assets suck, but they have to get them good, and now they're going to use Bitcoin. But if only the story stopped here, that would be okay. You're like, so who cares? Well, you're going to know why everyone should care. It gets more sinister than this. If Roca Negra can cause a big crash and get everyone to blame the Bitcoin miners, they can then push for Bitcoin to go to proof of stake and fork it. They have already released in the Blackberry pieces of paper, they have mentioned a clause in there. They've said, in the event, if we have to fork the Bitcoin network, we will decide who's the real Bitcoin. They've literally said that. So this is an ominous warning for the future. So now that they've told us this, because I just want you to know, friends, these bug eater overlord reptiles, there's something about them. They actually tell you what they're going to do before they do it. I'm not kidding. You can go to the IMF, the World Economic Forum. You can go to any of their marketing, branding. They don't hide anything. They actually tell it to your face. It's kind of crazy. No one believes it, but you go and check. They actually just tell you what they're going to do next. So now that we know a devastating trap could form at 80K Bitcoin, and by the way, I just want you to know, right? This can keep going higher. So if they decide, you know what, too much of you guys are bearish, let's push Bitcoin up to 300K and then let's form the trap. That's still possible. We'll take that. Hey, we'll take that, wouldn't we? But you got to think about, in the wake of that crash, when there is disaster, the narrative is going to be morphed and changed by the media. The crypto media is going to be ever so larger than now. It will be more tainted. There are a lot of crypto media you can't trust already. I mean, hell, I have trouble figuring out the truth myself. We know during the FTX collapse how much BS and fake junk there was here. Just imagine what there's going to be when you have a Roca Negra ETF actually on the table and they're trying to funnel everyone's money in. So it doesn't take a genius to figure out. In fact, your little peanut brain can see this too. If the Bitcoin miners are blamed for the dumping, so let's say Bitcoin does whatever it does is dump, the next big crash, if they can blame the Bitcoin miners and a lot of retailers lose money on Bitcoin, which they will, and you know they're going to buy the top, if this happens, there will be a good case to convince people that Bitcoin should become proof of stake. Of course, what's going to happen? Of course, friends, you're going to see many people say, well, no, Bitcoin's never gone proof of stake. We're staying proof of work, where we do the electrical components and the jizz and the jazz, and we do the energy spending to get a maths problem to spit out some Bitcoin. Here's the issue. Metcalfe's law. Bitcoin only had 100,000 people here back in 2012. It only had like 1 million people here in 2016. It only had 10 million people here in 2019. Today it has 200 million people. Roca Negra wants to get the next 1 billion people. So let me tell you this. How are you going to tell these 1 billion people that you are on the right Bitcoin on proof of work when you got in earlier, they know you got in earlier, and they outnumber us, all of us? How are you going to tell them that? You can't. You have no leg to stand on. You can shout from the rooftops and say, oh, proof of work, oh, number go up. They're going to be like, yeah, we understand proof of work, Habib, but there's no number go up anymore. We've been going sideways for these many years. But it'll be wink, wink, friends. Unfortunately, there were insider scammers here, and there's going to be insider scammers coming at the next top as well. So that's the truth. How are you going to convince 1 billion people they're getting scammed when you told them it was the future of finance? So this is part of their plan. This is their plan. So this is how they're ultimately going to get control. Why do they have to do it? Very simple. They must defend the sanctity of the US dollar in the long term. They must control it. In fact, they are a Trojan horse. They are using Bitcoin to amass power. Look at this cute little duck with the red bow tie. Aren't you a good little ducky? So you have to have this skeptical lens, because I am going to run out of breath yelling when everyone's got their pants down. Okay? When everyone's got their pants down, you don't know how these 6 ladies arrived out here. You don't know what's going on. You got people on trampolines doing backwards cartwheels, right? People are drinking from places you didn't know that they could drink from. When that's happening, no one's going to be talking about Roca Negra is a Trojan horse. No one's going to care. You look like an idiot. Just like how I look like an idiot, still do, down when FTX collapsed. And I said, wow, that was the end of the bear market. Now the good times roll in. No one believed it. Everyone thought it was the start of the bad times. Just like when everyone clears Bitcoin 80K up here, they're going to say it's the start of the good times. You go, no, that was the actually end of the good times. So BlackBerry have to do this. If you take the position that you are an evil dictator overlord and you eat bugs and you want everybody else to eat bugs, and you've got to put something in an index and you've got to amass power to defend the sanctity of the US dollar to make sure you control the rails leaving the US economy. And also a special bonus for you, friends. There'll be more videos on this. It is in their best interest to pump Ethereum. Didn't I tell you, once we have this figured out, we can make a lot of money from this? Yes, it's in their best interest to pump Ethereum. Why would they pump the proof of work coin long term when they ultimately want it to be proof of stake? Because with proof of stake, you can just buy enough of the coins and then now you have power over it. Because you can just exchange fiat. But with Bitcoin, you need to make the miners. You need to actually do the work and keep minting them. They have a big advantage once they're in proof of stake. So it's very obvious. I mean, it's very clear in my mind. I don't know, everyone else can see this too. When Ethereum is seen as eco-friendly, green, and Ethereum is giving you yield through proof of stake, it's going to be the perfect power grab. Think about Bitcoin going down, friends. What's going to happen? You're going to have the world of people saying, ha ha, Bitcoin is a scam. Max Kaiser bought it at $1. He convinced you it was cheap at $70,000. You're an idiot. That's what people are going to be saying. And they're going to be saying Ethereum outperformed Bitcoin and it gave you yield. And you don't have Bitcoin miners dumping on you. The Ethereum miners aren't there. They're just stakers. And they get money from it being used. You see these talking points? Now, the truth is we need Bitcoin as layer 0 to never go the way of Ethereum anyway. But they're going to spin it their own way. So now I'm going to ask you, how do you think this is going to play out? Will the people rise up and say, nope, we're going to enjoy our number go sideways for a long time? Do you think people are going to say that, friends? No, they're not. No chance in hell. They're going to say, that's okay, I'm fine. They're not going to say that. You know who's going to tell you to say that, by the way? Bitcoin maxis who got Bitcoin under $1,000. All right. People who bought Bitcoin at $10, $50 very early, they're going to tell everybody, yeah, just keep holding on. Hey, keep holding on, even though you've gone sideways for 1,800 days. That's what they're going to tell people. Okay. So do you think the people are going to rise up and defend it? Or do you think they're going to choose the number go up path? Because that's how they're going to spin it. They're going to say, well, you know, if Bitcoin didn't have all the Bitcoin miners dumping and it was proof of stake, we could actually give yield to you and we could transform this asset class and bang. Very easy. You're going to have 1 billion people coming in and 200 million people versus 200 million people already in the network. And yes, those are real numbers, friends. Bitcoin has 200 million people in the network now. The next 1 billion people are buying the top of the bags, but they are more in numbers than the existing 200 million. What are you going to say? You're not the real Bitcoin people? How can you say that? The next 1 billion people coming in. You can't tell them they're not the real Bitcoin people. What if they tell you, we want yield, we want number go up? They're getting in for the same reasons you did. It just so happens that they are like 15 years too late. So now you can see everything forming. Now that we can see everything forming, we can allocate for this future to crush it. You already know. You're already on the right path. You already know holding Bitcoin of 550K is a pipe dream. You're already on the right path, the path of friendship and kindness. Don't forget, you are a very warm pair of fuzzy socks. I appreciate every single one of you. Tell mum and dad to stay warm when it's cold. Catch you in the next one.